Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Girl Talk Mental Health dares to go where others won't. We unpack the hard truths about mental health, dissect trending topics, and challenge the stereotypes and stigmas holding us back. From navigating the 6 dimensions of wellness to redefining social norms, this is more than a discussion. It's a revolution in how we care for our minds and souls. Ready for bold, honest conversations that spark change? Let's dive in. It's time for real talk with real impact.
Menopause can feel like chaos, but it can also be your greatest comeback. On Girl Talk Mental Health, we break the stigma and show you how to protect your mind and spirit through the change. And today we're diving into a topic that so many of us whisper about, but rarely explore out loud. That's menopause and mental health. And today we are joined by Susie Cortez, who's not only walked this journey, but turned it into a season of unexpected joy and strength. So let's welcome Miss Susie Cortez to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let the audience know a little bit about who you are.
So again, I'm Susie Cortez. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, which is a therapist, a licensed therapist. And I've been doing therapy for over 20 years, working with all types of people in that role. And then I entered perimenopause myself about a year and a half ago and struggled with finding answers and what was happening to me. So decided to become a wellness coach on top of the therapy I do. And so now I help women go through menopause.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know for myself, like I just recently, because growing up, you always hear about people in menopause and how they act and whatever,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
But just recently, I've found out that there's a pre-menopause. So,
Yeah.
I didn't know that much. I'm thinking like menopause is just menopause, but there's actually some steps before you
Yes.
even
Yes.
think that you're in menopause, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the most surprising emotional or mental shift you experienced during menopause, and how did it change your view of yourself?
Yeah. So actually, let me address that, what you just mentioned. It's called perimenopause. And just like you, I never heard of perimenopause up until a few years ago. And all I ever heard was the word menopause, like you. And I just associated that with aging and just negative things. And so perimenopause is the 2 to 10 years. It could be up to 10 years before menopause. And menopause is when you stop having your menstrual cycle. So after 12 months of no periods, that's when you are in menopause. And so perimenopause, which a doctor I follow calls it the zone of chaos, because our hormones are literally going up and down, up and down, up and down. And when our hormones go up and down during perimenopause, our symptoms go chaotic and our body goes chaotic and our brain goes chaotic. And so the most surprising symptom that I had no idea, and this is why I'm so passionate about this work, because as a therapist, I had no idea that it affects our mood, that we have mood swings, that we could be irritable, we can be depressed and anxious. And there's even studies now that are coming out of suicide rate in women between ages and 40 and 50. And that's how serious some women get the mood struggles. And so for me, when I had a panic attack about 10 years ago, I never had a panic attack. I had never really struggled or dealt with severe anxiety in my life. So I've helped people my whole career in with anxiety. So to be on the other side of it was scary and surprising. And I didn't know what it was. I couldn't identify a trigger, which is when, as a therapist, we usually, when we're meeting with people
Yeah.
with anxiety or panic attacks, we try to say, well, what triggered it? And it was scary for me that I did not know what triggered it until years later when I learned about perimenopause and my hormones, and that's what triggered it. And so that was honestly the most surprising, that affects emotionally for women.
Right. And what's even more surprising, because I never really thought about it too, the suicide rate with
Yes.
women of menopause, because they probably overlooked that. They probably, like you say, looking for other triggers. when the
Exactly.
trigger for the suicide probably was, or the attempts was probably the menopause
Hmm.
symptoms. And
Yes.
I can relate because yeah, it is something else, the perimenopause.
Hmm.
hmm
Absolutely.
So what's one myth besides the what I just said about the suicide, right? What's another myth about menopause and mental health that you wish women knew wasn't true?
There's so many things about menopause that women don't know or that hear. It's definitely could be. I want to just say this, and this is what I really preach. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be horrible. Aging actually can be beautiful, and we can thrive as we age. And that is a huge myth we hear all the time when we age. Oh no, and it is fun to joke about our symptoms and aging, but in reality we can turn it around and really make it could be the best part of our lives. And so I would say that's the biggest myth. Don't be afraid of it. Don't try to avoid it, and don't try to deny that time, because we really can use it and become a better person.
And how about this one? Like the men in our lives who, make the joke about, oh, she's going through menopause. Don't pay attention to her. You doing this because you're going through menopause. Because we do have a few men
Mhm.
to watch. What do you think?
Yeah.
What advice can you give them to this,
Oh,
knock that disclaimer
yes.
out the box?
I love talking about this, because I think I love, to be honest, there's a lot of men that follow my social media and actually comment and really appreciate the education. And because women don't talk about there's still a stigma with menopause, just like mental health, right? And so women are afraid to tell their partners and their husbands or their boyfriends about what's happening to their body, because they're embarrassed. They're thinking they're going to be judged, or they're going to look like they're old. And so really educating men about why our bodies are going through certain things, and there's things that can help us to get over it, and to really just be patient. And that's like the worst thing you probably can say, like, it's, oh, your hormones or it's menopause. Yeah, you're going through something, but you can actually support the women in your life by learning about it and embracing it and diving in with them. And when you start learning about how beautiful your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your sister's body is, because a woman's body is so beautiful, then you really appreciate women more. And so I would tell the men, just really educate yourself on women's body and menopause.
That's good. So I'm gonna help you one more little ting, man. Give them one statement because they don't know what to say. Sometimes, they just
Yeah, I
they
know.
saying a good thing, but give them one statement that they can say to show some kindness and appreciation to that woman in their
Yeah. How can I support you?
life.
Just asking them, how can I support you through this? Because every woman's different. So perimenopause and menopause looks different in every woman differently. So you can't just tell men or women this is what's going to happen to you, because some women don't have all the symptoms. And the symptoms we mostly hear about are hot flashes, night sweats, irritability, the snappiness. And so I do tell men all the time, give some women some grace during this time. And I tell the women, talk to your partners about your moods, so they understand where it's coming from. But there is weight gain that happens for a lot of women during this time, and that really affects our self-esteem. So also being supportive with your with women in your lives, wellness and nutrition.
Mhm.
So there's so many, sleep. And the biggest one that men should know, unfortunately, women sometimes suffer from low libido and low sex drive. So it
Mm.
could really suffer in marriages. And there is also a high divorce rate that happens for marriages during this time, because women don't know what's happening to them. And it really, they're uncomfortable, they've gained weight, they can't sleep, right? They're sweating at night, they're not having sex, they're not being intimate with their partners, and it really affects marriages. So don't, if you're listening and you can resonate a little bit, there's hope. Get educated, go see professionals, see if there's medication, and do the work you need to do to get past this stage.
That is so good. So, what do you think? Why so many women still suffer in silence about menopause and mental health, and how can they change that?
Well, as much as it is a movement now, just and there is a lot of work to educate women, it's still, you're absolutely right. It's a great question because women do still suffer in silence, are in denial, and that's because of what we were raised. My especially women of color, um, Latino families. I see the moms in the kitchen cooking, and probably in a lot of other cultures as well. They have seen women suffer through it and just say and not complain and do the hard work, and don't ever mention it to the family. Um, and that is a big cultural breakdown that we have to also add. So women see that, and so they never grew up talking about. They never saw a role model of talking about what's going on in their body. So that's a big thing, and it's embarrassing, right? A lot of women have high careers and are leaders, are managers, and one of the other big symptoms is brain fog and memory loss. So you don't want to tell your coworkers or the people you manage, "Oh, I'm going through menopause, and I'm having some brain fog." You might feel you're going to affect your career, and so there's so many fears around menopause still. And what does that mean for me if I'm having memory loss or brain fog or irritability? And so people just hide it and just suffer in silence, but you don't need to, because the more I talk about it, and I'm in these platforms, so thank you so much for having these platforms, women
Absolutely.
are realizing I'm not alone. And then once they realize, oh, wait, this is common, this is normal, then it's easier to talk about it.
Yes, because when you do say something like that, because it's been so cliche-ish, then you people will be like, "Oh, that's an excuse," like it's something that you just saying as an excuse, and it's like it's something that's not really happening. When there is
Yeah.
something that's really happening, and it's not just you just saying it as an excuse, as a little funny excuse, as they make jokes about it or whatever. So that's some good information. You hear, ladies and gentlemen, educate yourself, okay? Rewatch this episode over and over again. But let's break and go to a quick commercial, and then we'll come right back with some more great information about how you can manage menopause and thrive in menopause. So we'll be right back.
You weren't meant to break. You were set apart. What if your deepest pain was the birthplace of your greatest purpose? Meet Gingerbread, a child caught in the chaos of her mother's depression and suicide attempts. She never asked for trauma, shame, or to feel invisible, but she found something greater. Set Apart, the journey to find hope through loneliness, shame, and death is more than a book. It's the breakthrough you didn't know you needed. If you've ever said, "I'm fine," when you were falling apart. If you've ever thought, "This story isn't for me," it is. Don't let fear, excuses, or busyness rob you of healing. This book will shatter the silence, stir your soul, and remind you, you were never forgotten. You were set apart. Set Apart, the journey to find hope in times of shame, loneliness, and death, by author Virginia Dale Manning. Available now, because hope can't wait.
So welcome back to the second half of Girl Talk Mental Health, where we have Miss Susie Cortez, licensed clinical social worker and therapist, who is giving you some great nuggets about how to thrive in menopause. So if you didn't have a chance over the commercial to grab your girlfriend, grab your husband, grab somebody so that you don't have to go at it alone, and then you can thrive together and become a community. So, Miss Susie, if you could give one piece of advice, and you've given a lot of advice already, but to your younger self about thriving through
Mhm.
menopause, what would it be?
That's a hard one. It's only one advice. I really would say again, don't be afraid of aging. Don't be afraid of getting older, because you're going to hear that over and over again as you get older, that aging is scary, but it's not. It actually can be beautiful, like I mentioned, and it's our better days are really yet to come.
Well, did before you went in premenopause, did you know about premenopause, or you knew before you got into premenopause?
Absolutely did not know. I didn't know at
Did you
all.
have some fears? Were
Um,
you fearful? Did you?
I I was when I remember sitting in the doctor's office, I was having irregular periods. I had all the symptoms, perimenopause, you can look up. I felt like everything I had. There's something called frozen shoulder, a pain in your shoulder you get. I had that. I had vertigo. I had really bad irregular periods, and it was all scary. And I didn't know what was happening to me. And I remember the doctor saying, it could be maybe you're in menopause. And I was like, I'm only 40 something. I thought menopause was like old, or like, I didn't know what age, but I just didn't think in my 40s that I would be saying the word menopause. But in reality, Virginia, it could start symptoms. Perimenopause can start as early as in 35,
Wow.
and definitely 40s, and for sure 50s, because around 50s is when women actually reach menopause, and stop their period. And so absolutely was afraid of it and did not know what I was going through, which is why I became a menopause coach, because I didn't want other women to be shocked and like I was, and not get answers right away, because the medical community is still trying to catch up. And there's a lot of doctors that still don't have the information. They get 5% or 15%, I hear, of menopause care in med school. So
Hmm.
they just don't have the information.
Right. And I know when I first kind of realized, well, first of all, I heard it when Tabitha Brown was talking about premenopause, because before that, I always thought menopause was menopause. I didn't know there was a pre.
Yeah.
So when she
Yeah.
started publicizing about the premenopause, I'm like, for real, there's a pre? And so then I looked into it, did a little research or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. So that kind of helped me explain some
Yeah.
things myself. And so then it kind of really did start hitting the premenopause thing. And then I thought I was in premenopause. I was counting down for my year before I could be in menopause, and then my menstruation came back, and the doctor said, "Well, you have to start all over because
Yep.
it came back." I'm like, "What?"
Yes,
Like,
it
so yeah,
happens.
it's an up and down cycle. It's strange but true.
Yes, and it's scary if you don't know that, because women actually, and I'm one that can have a menstrual cycle for 2 to 3 weeks, and then nothing for about 6 months. And
Hmm.
then again, so it's so irregular, you don't even know how to plan, right? You don't even know sometimes when it's coming, and then it could be heavier. And that's the other thing that women um, complain to me usually about too, and want to know if it's normal. But it's absolutely normal to go back to when we were teenagers, where we're crampy and it's heavy. We're sometimes going through our clothes. I know that's TMI, but it's a reality.
Yeah,
And so if it happens, and it's scary when you are in your 40s and you have those experiences that you haven't had for a long time.
I love that, because ultimately menopause doesn't have to break us. It can break us open into a new purpose, a new dimension, a
Yeah,
new level of maturity too, right? Like to
absolutely.
know that you're in that zone of menopause. So that's
Yeah,
awesome. All right, well, we're at my favorite part of the show, and that is the spotlight question. Are you ready?
sure. Scared.
See, that's why it's my favorite part. I just have to get that ding at the end, like, hey,
I
it's
love
ready.
that.
So,
Mm.
what's one mindset shift or action step you believe could transform how we approach mental health and wellness in our daily lives?
I've said it a few times, but I think one specific mindset shift is really seeing the beauty of things and not the negative. So, waking is something that most women experience as they get older, and why it's so challenging is because we're eating. Sometimes we're eating better and we're exercising more, but we're still gaining weight. And
Mhm.
women get very it really can affect our mental health and our mood and our frustration. And so what I tell women is, it sounds crazy and maybe corny, but really to think of the gratitudes. And I'm all about gratitudes, and meaning like every night, think of things that you're grateful for. I'm grateful to have a body that's aging, that has a body that's gaining weight. It's doing what it's supposed to do, even though what it's supposed to do is not fun to feel, and it's challenging at times, but it means I'm doing exactly what God made it to do. And
Right.
so, trying to have that mind shift of appreciating hair loss loss is another huge symptom. And you know what? I'm just lucky I have hair. I don't have a chronic illness, cancer, something where I have to shave my head. I'm lucky I have hair. If menopause is the worst thing I have to go through and lose some of it, then it is what it is. I have to appreciate that I still have hair. I still have my body. And so that's really what I tell women. And I try to do myself because I'm normal. I get in my moods
Right.
and struggles as I'm still in perimenopause. So I am still just this morning. I think I was at 2 months with nothing. And every month I'm like, yes, I'm going to go through the 12 months and no, you know, and Flo decided
Surprise.
to, and Flo decided to, to come this morning, and it's fine. I have to tell myself this is what my body's doing, and I have to appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's good. That's
yeah,
some good information. So let the audience know where they can get in touch with you or where they can find you, and then if you have some type of offer or program going on for them to connect
yeah.
with you more.
Absolutely. I have a Facebook page that's private, but you just ask to join and answer some simple questions. And it's a community of women that we're all going through different things in midlife and perimenopause. And so it's a safe space for women to go. I do live trainings every week in this Facebook group on menopause topics. And so definitely, if you want to learn more and you can resonate or you like what I'm saying today, join my Facebook group. And yeah, I mean, I do group coaching and individual coaching if some women out there are really struggling. Then and some women do, they really need help with figuring out the solutions. And we didn't get too much into them, but really a lot of it is what we hear all the time, right? Healthy
Mhm.
diet, exercise, movement, and mindfulness. And the mindfulness, some people don't know what to do and how does that look like. And so I really do coach women because of my background being a therapist. That's really what I'm passionate about, is how to do some deep breathing, again, the gratitudes, and really mindset shifts.
That's good. So if y'all want some more solutions, then you have to go follow her and join her group. And you can get it all there, some live trainings and everything. So don't do it by yourself. And for the woman who's watching and struggling with mood swings, insomnia, or even depression, think about what she's told you and then take one of those practices that can help you protect your mental health. And also, we want to hear from you. Comment, go to her social media, comment on her, comment on Girl Talk Mental Health. We are here for you, and we would love to know what you're going through so we can help you get to your next stage of thriving. And say, we want to thank you for your wisdom. And ladies, if this touched you, make sure to like, subscribe, tune in, follow her, follow me. And next week, we'll have more mental health tips for your awareness to help you to continue on your journey of mental health and mental wellness. And we're here for your healing journey. So, any closing remarks before we go out or anything?
Yeah, I also have an Instagram, wellness coach Susie, if you want to follow me. And in the Facebook group, if you join, you get a free guide on vitamins and supplements that are recommended to take during this
Ooh,
time.
okay, that's good. So go
Yeah.
ahead and check her out, you all. But we'll see you next time for another awesome, impactful episode of Girl Talk Mental Health. Y'all be blessed, thrive, and be well. See you all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Girl Talk Mental Health. Remember, your mental health is your wealth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to at Virginia Del Manning.